when you don't have anything to occupy your mind, okay, now you actually have to deal with this stuff, you know? And I think that's kind of the space that I'm at right now, trying to just be okay with sitting in a place where you don't feel good.
What's going on, creatives? Welcome back to another episode of the Creatives Are Essential podcast, where we have therapeutic conversations for the creative mind. My name is Christina.
It's your boy, Mark Lee.
Des.
And I'm Joe. Walk on, friends.
And of course, we got Will Stitt on the 3s and 4s over there. Say what's up, Will.
Yo.
Real quick, let's say a happy belated Mother's Day.
Yes.
To all the mothers out there.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day
Mama.
to all of you guys. We love Mom. I love you. I love you, Mom.
Yeah.
I love you. And then also happy belated Cinco de Mayo,
Yes.
because we had a great time. I don't know about y'all.
Can we say
went out.
great? Can we say it was great?
It was.
I mean, it wound up being
It was
great.
adventurous.
Yeah.
It was a memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a time.
Don't
Take
forget.
pictures.
Don't forget
We
about
like-
Star Wars Day too.
May the
Oh, yeah,
4th.
May the
May the
4th.
4th be with you.
Yep,
You sound like you had a hot take.
I did. Well, just talk about it.
Keep that in
Yep.
there. But yeah, on Cinco de Mayo, we went out and we just kind of ended up going restaurant hopping.
Yeah.
Somebody tell them the
You
story.
break it down.
Well, someone had the bright idea. It was an amazing idea to go to Cinco de Mayo on the only day of the week where the whole Broward and Dade County are out. So we went down to Los Olas in Fort Lauderdale, for those of you who are here. And we wanted to go to El Camino,
Yeah.
which is a...
Well, we started off by wanting to go to Barrita. Remember?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Barrita was like,
They weren't even answering. Remember when I called?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we saved ourselves a trip, went to Los Olas, El Camino. Joe got there, said it was a 2-hour wait.
2 hours and 15 minutes to
2
be
hours,
exact.
yeah.
Yes.
So as we parked, we said, you know what, we're gonna just meet up at YOLO. So we walked. We met up at El Camino.
Camino. Yeah.
Then we walked over to YOLO, which was about half a mile away.
Yeah.
We got there first. As soon as we walked in, they told us that we couldn't have hats on. So me and Joe were like, "Woo! Thank God we shaved."
and I was like, this hat is not coming off of my head. Okay, these braids is a little old.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we ended up sitting outside, and then we all like saw the menu, and we were just like,
There's nothing here.
Yeah, it wasn't
there
hidden.
was literally nothing on this menu.
But Joe was starving. So
I was
we were like,
because I
let's
hadn't
just do
eaten
it.
anything since like breakfast, and it might have been like some crackers. Like I was starving.
So it was either like go to different restaurants or pay $20 for some calamari and still be hungry.
Yes, exactly.
But calamari on Cinco de Mayo.
Exactly.
You know?
So I think
Cinco de Mayo.
We're going to all the Italian restaurants.
we ended up going to an Italian restaurant after and waited maybe 10 minutes, sat down. And then once we sat down, our table.
Well, first, once we sat down and looked at the menu, we were like, wait a minute, is this in Italian?
Who speaks Italian?
Well, it was actually in English. The description was in English. I think we were all just so hungry.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do all the work.
But that
of,
doesn't
like,
make any sense.
figuring it out.
The name of the dish, the entree, is in Italian, but the
Right.
description is in English.
Right.
I have no idea. I just know what's in it. I have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
we
That's
knew the
dumb to
word
me.
pizza. And that was about it.
Exactly.
So then I think you got the.
I got
The alert.
the text. Yeah, I got the alert that our table was ready at El Camino. Mind you, we only described it really quick, but it was a little while. We was like walking up and down Los Olas.
Yeah.
So by the time we actually sat down at the Italian restaurant, it was like, oh, your spot's ready. I'm like,
Y'all just kind of looked at each other like,
y'all want to go or?
Because I don't think you were at the table.
Yeah,
So we were
you-
trying to figure out whether
Yeah.
or not
Yeah.
like we was
Because-
gonna make that move.
Yeah. I think the main thing for all of us was it's Cinco de Mayo.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're here. At
have
least
some
let us get an
tacos. Come
Instagram
on.
story.
So
Now,
I signed up for $5 tacos and $5 margaritas. Okay,
Straight up,
I'm
man.
not trying to spend $45 on spaghetti and meatballs tonight. Not on Cinco de Mayo. You know,
So, anyways, we ended up going to El Camino. We had to wait a little bit.
Yeah, because we got there and they're like, hey, you. I was like, yeah, my name is Joe. Our table's ready. He's like, Joe? I'm looking down. I'm like, yeah. I just got the text alert. He's like, how long ago did you get it? I said, I replied like 7 minutes ago. He's like, yeah, after 5 minutes, we give up the table. And
I
I'm
didn't
like,
even know that. I would have been so pissed if you came back to us like, well, we lost this one.
I did.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
He said
But
he put us at the top of the
Yeah, he put us at the top of the list.
God
So,
was preserving your ears.
After all that.
because we already gave up our seat at the other
Right.
restaurant.
Right.
we would have been going to Taco Bell.
Oh, straight up. No,
At that point.
Straight up.
So yeah. So anyways, we ended up sitting down. We ordered our food, got some drinks, virgin, and the DJ.
His was
What was his
Bravo.
name?
I don't know.
DJ Mad Links.
Yeah,
Is that what that was his name?
That was
I
his
knew
name.
Links.
At
Yeah,
DJ
yeah.
Mad Links.
Yo,
He did his thing.
He did his thing, man. We had a good time.
Yeah.
And at
we
one
did.
point, he was like, "Yo, my people in the middle,"
Yeah, we was like,
and he was playing all the jams for us. And
Yeah.
we enjoyed
Specifically
it.
for us, because
Yeah.
it didn't look like anybody else was enjoying it but us. But
yeah.
I'm cool
Until
with
they got to the techno stuff. And then we was like, I guess we're going to eat now.
that. Right.
So, but it was a good time.
Yeah.
No,
I got home like 2:30.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to bed till 3:00, and then I had to wake up the next day, and it was the worst.
Yeah,
thank
I
you
was
guys.
having a hard time.
Thank you all.
I don't know whose idea that was.
But it was worth it, wasn't it? I had me a good old time.
It was
So,
fun.
long story long, happy belated Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
Moving on.
May the 5th be with you.
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo. Like, May the
Yep.
Sorry.
Moving on. As you know, if you've watched this podcast before, we believe in committed relationships here. We don't
Indeed.
do situationships. And so what that means for you is if you have not yet subscribed to the podcast,
Please.
what you waiting on? Go ahead.
Come on,
hit that
make it
subscribe
official.
button. Hit the notifications button. Subscribe or follow wherever you're listening. Apple, Spotify, Google, all the things. We're there. So go ahead and connect with us. And then also you can follow us on Instagram at Creatives Are Essential. Okay. Now, Mark, tell them about our homies over at Music Bed.
Yes, so this episode is in partnership with musicbed.com. If you are a creator, whether you're doing a podcast or reel, short stories, whatever it is, use musicbed.com. As a matter of fact, we use musicbed.com for the music and
All
the
the time.
intro and the outro of this podcast. And when you click the link in our description and you go to musicbed.com and you enter in the promo code Creatives Are Essential,
Creatives Are Essential.
you will get your first month off of an annual subscription. That's a whole month where you don't have to pay anything.
You're welcome.
So once again, the promo code is Creatives Are Essential.
Creatives
Creatives
are
Are
essential.
Essential.
Check out musicbed.com and tell them that we sent you.
Yes.
I did know that was gonna happen. I'm like, we didn't practice that.
I'm a little rusty. It's been a month.
It's been a whole month. We went into COVID protocols.
Again,
This time it wasn't me.
it wasn't
And it
me.
wasn't me.
And it wasn't Will.
Yeah.
So, process of elimination will tell you that it was somebody else.
It was a
I was
camera.
pissed. I was so mad. Let me tell you, man was not meant to be alone. Being in that house for so long.
You weren't alone. You had your parents.
Being in that house for so long by myself, I'm like, what you guys doing? I was outside.
We're like
I was
living
so
life.
bored.
I'm on the beach right now. What are you doing?
I'm pissed. I'm like coughing, like, I can see you guys still. And the lady at the testing place, she like knew me by name because she's like, okay, wait 10 days. And like day 5, I'm testing. And she's like, come back. Day 7, I'm like, I feel better.
Sweetie, I told you 10 days,
You're not
okay?
getting it.
As soon as I got that negative, I was like, I'm out.
So when you went there, like on the 8th day, was she like Desiree, Beulah, Corbin?
Well, the first time, I didn't even get a chance to make it back to my car. She was like, ma'am.
You got it. You got it.
She's like, give us 20, 30 minutes and then check the website. I went, boop, boop. She's like, ma'am.
That comment was like, I'm here.
I was so pissed. But, we's
Hey.
back.
Yeah.
back.
Imagine, listen, you was, how long were we out? How many days was it? Was it a week? Like 7 days? Or 8?
Yeah,
it was
7
longer
days.
than that. I thought it was like 2 weeks, wasn't it?
No.
No.
It just felt
Imagine-
like 2 weeks.
Yeah, because I
Oh,
was moving too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like that happened at the same time.
He was moving
So
the transferable.
Yo, but imagine 2 weeks of that. 2+ weeks of,
I don't understand how you did it.
I don't know how it's all a blur.
Yeah.
It really
At least y'all didn't lose y'all taste and smell.
Oh, I did.
You right.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh,
Oh, not smell, just taste.
I lost
Wait,
everything.
you talking about the first time or the second time you had it?
The second time.
You did.
I lost it the second time. The first time I was just like, and like 2-3 days later, I was no, I like took the first time like
a G.
I ate it. The second time, I was like,
you probably did eat it. Actually, that's how you contracted it.
But that's how you can save money. If you want to save some money, get some COVID. Because everything, you can't taste anything. So you just eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and you're good.
I didn't think about that.
I would advise against that advice.
Please don't listen to my advice. But if you did.
His views are not the views of Creatives Are Essential.
Do not represent.
Straight up.
Everything was just really salty for me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it was. Everything tastes extra salty.
We each had different experiences because you said that you was living the time of your life. You was like, I
was like, man, I haven't watched any of these shows. Eating everything. I was chilling.
You had it twice? Did you have it twice? Or once?
The first time was never like
Diagnosed?
confirmed. It was like at the beginning of COVID when it was like, is COVID even real? Like that type of thing.
That's true. We all did go through that phase because our show was out
I didn't
in these streets during lockdown.
Because I didn't want anyone to treat me like the leopards back in the Bible days.
Yeah.
Like you was
The
dying.
leopards?
Like the leprosy. No, like leprosy. They, you know what I mean. Leopards. They call them leopards.
Not with it. There's no D in that. Leopard is an animal.
Yeah.
Like you got spots on you.
Exactly.
Or the lepers.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Y'all know what I mean. Stop trying to come for me. Anyways, COVID-19.
But it is our responsibility to tell it people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to get anybody else sick.
Yeah.
I mean, in the beginning, we didn't know.
Yeah. No. Early on,
doing
definitely.
Shut down.
What?
Who shut down?
5, 6, 7.
I'm about to shut this dance down.
I was out here like, what COVID? 2 years later, dang, got me.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Welcome back.
Yeah,
Thanks.
we're glad to have you back.
Thanks, guys.
I'm glad to have you back. So it kind of worked out because not you having COVID, of course. But there was a topic that I had in mind for today. Well, for the next podcast that we did, we ended up not doing it, obviously. But since then, it's like, okay, it's May. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, which I forgot about. Because I don't know, like, where they have these calendars posted.
I don't get it.
It's like every month is something. And so I'm just a little late to it sometimes.
I even wonder, like, is this even, like, are people making up their own days and just, like, getting a lot of people, to, like, putting it out there and
I think
people
so.
catching on?
I mean, to a degree.
That's how I feel like.
Because it's not on a calendar.
I wish it was.
We should have a Creatives Are Essential Day.
It's like a social media calendar.
We should.
We should have one.
When was it birthed?
It was birthed September 18th,
There we go.
2020.
September is Creatives Are Essential Month.
Mark it on your calendars right
Boom.
now. Wherever you are.
There we
I
go.
like
Got your
it.
iPhones.
Welcome.
We got to see if
Good job,
it's
Joe.
we got to see if it's available first. Is it taken? The least we can do is have the day. I don't know about the month. The month is a stretch, but at least the day. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about something completely different. But with it being May, Mental Health Awareness Month, and me and you have been having some conversations that are just really about our mental health, and I've been talking to other people, and it seems like all the conversations are consistent.
Same.
Which is bizarre in a sense. But
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so maybe this conversation needs to happen. Like, I wasn't going to force it just because it was Mental Health Awareness Month, but like, we're all of us saying the same thing. I'm like, let's just talk about
Let's check
it.
in.
So for one, we're almost halfway through 2020. 2022. Sorry, it's all a blur.
That makes sense.
I feel like we always saying that. We're halfway through. Oh, we're
Yeah.
almost through. It's just like,
Things are moving, man.
Next month is June, y'all.
That made no sense.
We just had New Year's.
We were just on the podcast talking about
Resolutions.
right. What do you want to do this year?
Goals for the year.
So I wanted to ask, with everything that has gone on through the year so far, we've all, been doing stuff and creating stuff and all that stuff. But like mentally, if you had to give yourself a rating 1 to 10, 10 being the best, where are you guys at mentally? Don't start all at once.
You go first, Des.
Yeah.
I'd say a range between 5 to 8. It fluctuates sometimes depending on like what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But the lowest I would say is a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say 5.
Why?
Here we go.
A Kleenex.
But the highest you'll say is 8.
Right. You remember? It's just a lot happening in my life right now. Without getting like too much detail, it's just a lot of new, a lot of out of my comfort zone, a lot of vulnerability, a lot of like, it's a lot at one time, and it's just a lot. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's not like one thing and then it's kind of like, okay, deal with it, and then the next thing comes is like boom, boom, boom. It's just like
You're getting punched.
Like
yes, like what in the world? So, the lows be lowing, and it's just kind of like, all right, God, like, do your thing,
please.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, yeah. So it's just a lot, but I wouldn't say as of right now I'm at a 5. So it's a little higher, but I think in the beginning and when things started happening, I give myself 4.5. Let's say that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Right now?
No. When things first started happening, yeah. So, yep. Who's next?
You ready?
I guess I could go. I think I know for me now, I would say I'm at 8.59.
Okay.
Why? There's a couple of reasons. One, I definitely went through the lows, like the 4.5s, 5s, 3s, back in 2020. You guys know here, and I think I made mention of it on the podcast a couple episodes ago. Anyhow, so back in 2020, since we're talking about COVID, I think my mom, she actually passed away. She had not COVID, but she passed away. We knew it was coming, and she passed away. And I'm saying all this for a reason, but she passed away, and then the following day, my godfather passed away from COVID. And then 3 weeks later, my dad passed away from COVID. Couple weeks after that, ended a relationship. So it was like literally, and the crazy thing about my mom, my dad, and my godfather is all three of them named me. So for me, I looked at it like, kind of went through a place of like, who am I? Because my godfather named me Mark, and then my mom, she loved Bruce Lee movies. So she added the Lee, and then of course my last name comes from my dad, right? So for me, I took it as like an identity crisis. Like, who am I? These three people who were strong voices in my life, within 3 weeks, they're gone. So, and I think in the time of, I held on to Job 121, the Lord gives, the Lord takes away. And in that time, it helped me through it. But when you take some time to really sit down and then like realize what happened, it's like, whoa.
That's a lot.
Like, all these people are gone. Yeah. And then with that, the breakup. So it was really just that time. And I think we had a conversation where I told you, like, I feel like I'm just like in the middle of a field and I don't know what's coming, but I know like that the Lord is preparing something to happen, because it's like, you don't go through all that loss just for nothing. Right. And fast forward to earlier this year, I think because of so much loss, I realized where my mental health started to take a strong decline is you go from losing so many people that are close to you, right? So now every relationship around you is that much more like fragile, because you say to yourself, man, if I lost these 3 people or these 4 relationships just like that, like what about the relationships around me? So in that, I realized I was over functioning, and even in relationships, to the point where I would just try to be there for everybody more than I was being for myself. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, and in that, you just get tired and drained and burnt out. And I had to realize and come to a place where I even had certain conversations with people that were really close to me. family. And I said, hey, I had to come to a place where I was like, hey, I can't rescue you anymore. Because, and I think I had a conversation with you guys where it's like, I'm here trying to rescue everybody else, but who's rescuing me? And I had to do it myself, you know. So with that, it just took me setting boundaries, and in certain relationships, and I say even setting boundaries because in that, I was able to rediscover the things I love and put effort towards things I love and put myself freaking first, you know.
Yeah.
And just over time, it just became better, you know. And it's crazy that we're talking about this because I was walking my dog this morning, and usually I'm gonna say this and wrap it up, but usually like I let him run free because I don't like to put on a leash and, you know, all that stuff. But today I was like, I'm gonna put the leash on him, you know what I mean? So I'm walking him, and it's like the Holy Spirit was just like, he's on a leash because you know the dangers around him and you foresee it, so you put him on a leash so you can keep him within a certain boundary. And he's like, that's the same thing for you. Like, you had to learn to put boundaries in place to protect yourself. And so my boundaries, whether it's boundaries about sex, whether it's boundaries about rest, boundaries about overworking, whatever those things are, he's like, I put those there to protect you, not to hurt you. So it's me learning, like, he's just trying to protect me.
Yeah.
And teaching me boundaries to
That's good.
protect myself. So, and all that to say, 8.5, 9.
Well, thanks for tuning in, guys.
Appreciate
Catch you
y'all.
on the next one. God.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Well,
That's good.
you go, Joe, because I don't know how to follow that.
Yeah, I'm in the same spot. I mean, if I'm gonna say, I probably would be, I think I fluctuate as well. Like, I just have like good days and bad days. Probably between, I'd probably say a 5 and 7.5. I think, you know, and there's just several factors that play into that. I think some stuff that's external, some stuff that's internal. But you know, it's learning to cope with both, I think, or trying. I think I'm learning to like try to figure out what the roots are of things, you know?
Yeah.
And like, okay, you had this reaction to this thing. Where is that coming from? You know, and like try to backtrack and see where that is.
Right.
And like there's been times where like, you know, I start feeling a certain type of way, and I'll be like, you know, I just got to tell myself like, hey, it's not that big a deal. It's okay. Like it's all good. Like, you're good. And that's just kind of where I'm at. So like, depending on the day, it's either a low that I'm trying to like keep from, like, you know,
Getting lower.
doing its thing.
Doing it slow.
You know, exactly.
What we call it, the abyss.
The sunken place.
The sunken place.
Yeah, because I think for me especially, it's when you're in those places like alone that you have to be careful, because you know there's not really like another sounding board around you. And so now, especially, well, I'll say for me, like, my mind can wander and go to some places like when I have like free time or not free time, but like there's no other like
Distraction.
distractions around, right? And I think, you know, some of that is just how I used to cope with stuff in the past too, because like I would literally, like, if I had felt bad about a thing or whatever, a situation, I would just put on a show and just teleport to that. Like, I have left the space that I'm in and I am now in this show. You know what I mean? But like, that stuff was never dealt with either. So now it's like, when you don't have anything to occupy your mind, okay, now you actually have to deal with this stuff, you know? And I think that's kind of the space that I'm at right now, trying to just, you know, be okay with sitting in a place where you don't feel good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As opposed to just running from it and acting like it's not there and trying to dodge it, you know? And so, yeah, that's where I'm at.
And like you said, not allowing yourself to go even deeper.
Yeah, exactly.
Into that.
Because you have to know, like, there's a limitation, because I know I have had the tendency in the past to like, okay, it's already a bad situation, and then in my mind I'll make it worse, you know. And it's like, oh, X, Y, and Z happened. Oh, well, I bet it's because of this, and then they probably think this, and then they, you know what I mean? And
that domino effect,
and it's just
doing that Doctor Strange, thinking of all the scenarios that don't exist.
It's funny you say that because I forgot who I was talking to. A friend of mine recently got a surgery, and the surgery, it went relatively good, and they're fine, completely fine, and they're just like, but what if this happens? What if that happens and this happens? And I was just like, yo, like 90% of the time in my life, in experience, like when I thought of worst case scenarios and spent days thinking about those worst case scenarios, those things never even came true. And it's like you rob yourself of the moment, or days and weeks, and it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're just thinking about worst case scenarios.
Yep.
And 9 times out of 10 of those things don't even happen.
Facts.
Whew.
Christina,
you asked the question. Shoot, I think right now I'm probably at like a 5, 6. And that's me keeping myself from going lower than that. When the year started, I'd say like maybe like 8, 9. You know, I'm driving the car. I'm like, today's gonna be a great day. You know.
Yeah.
But life, man, like life. There's one thing you can count on it to do is life.
Yes. It's
Like,
very good at that.
It's so good at it, and there's always going to be the things that you deal with, and I'm just trying to become better at how I deal with the stuff, you know, because it's, you know, what am I doing with my life? You know, it's a bunch of things, and just not being where you want to be. How do I get to where I want to be? I don't know how, you know, it's just like all these things coming at you at the same time, and trying to just figure out how to navigate that and not allow myself to like just sink into the sunken place. So, but we'll get deeper. We'll get deeper into the stuff. This is
the first question.
This is the first question. This is just the first question. So the next question is, right now, what do you think is that thing that is degrading your mental health? And I just answered. So one of y'all gonna go first before I'm over here crying. I forgot the Kleenex.
I think we said it. Or one of the things could be just overthinking and thinking of worst case scenario, things that don't exist, putting thoughts in our head that don't exist, or like even the assumption that other people are thinking something about us, you know, and they're not. You know what I mean? Like, how many times you go or you leave a place, right, because of a broken relationship. So you see anybody related to that situation or circumstance, and you're like, oh, he probably thinking like, and meanwhile they're like, yo, what's up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He being fake. He really do think X, Y, Z.
Yeah, you know, just like one of the things is just letting our mind just loose, and like the Bible says, take your thoughts captive. You know, because it's when we open those floodgates, they just be thinking what they want to think.
Yeah.
Vain imaginations.
I think for me it's I'm contemplating how to say the word. In my head I'm saying the word, but I don't know how it's gonna come out. Inferiority. Right, that's right. Just feeling like inferior, whether it's comparison to other people, whether it's like in different facets of my life, whether it's work, whether it's social, whether it's family, whether it's whatever, I just feel like less than, to where like I won't attempt a thing or embark in a thing because I've already counted myself out. Again, not just work-wise, but even socially, even like relationships. It's just kind of like, oh no, they wouldn't, so let me just not. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask why or where that comes from?
I think, let's see. I feel like what plays a big part is, first of all, I don't have my degree, right? So I went to college, but, you know, didn't get the diploma. But I feel like that plays a big part when it comes to work-wise. Because now it's kind of like, let me not even attempt because I'm not going to get it because these people got this and that. Right. And, you know, they're not going to want me or whatever like that. I think socially, a part of it comes with my past and me holding on to things from my past into my future, but not letting it go because I feel like I should bear the weight of it, if that makes sense. So, like, I'm carrying it, but, like, I feel like now I don't know how to let it go.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like I know it's stunting me, but I don't know how to shake it.
You feel like you deserve it? Like you or when you say you don't want to let it go?
You know, it's kind of like when you've grown accustomed to a thing, it just became a part of who you are.
Okay.
So like now it's kind of like
it feels normal.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, like it's not a part of you, but it's just kind of like, I don't know.
It's familiar.
Yeah,
grown accustomed to it.
Yeah.
But what is it though? I mean, I'm not. You don't have to say.
Oh, I'm not.
Right. So is it a physical thing, or is it like just a mindset of where you were when back in? You know what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because we all have past, and I'm just saying this from my experience. There's some crazy, messed up, stupid things that I've done, and I would struggle with that, like holding, I don't deserve this, and I don't deserve that because of this thing that I did when I was 10, 15, 20, like, you know what I mean? Like stupid decisions. And I think even on the way here, I was thinking like, thank you, Jesus, like, right? Like for freaking grace, because if I held myself, like for things I've done, and I remember going to therapy, and I was telling my therapist like, oh, I did this, I did that, and she was just like, boy, there's some people that sit in this chair and have done far worse. You know what I mean? I think it's like giving yourself permission to be human and flawed and like we all, you know what I mean? And it's like I know for myself, when I decided like I deserve and like just better in life, it was a crawl, it was a struggle, but it's like I started with the thought of I deserve it. Not that I'm owed it, but why not? And it like, I'm not saying it's gonna be easy, but you gotta crawl before you walk, but just like day by day. Yeah. I know I was talking to Christina about this the other day, about a friend of mine's who just told me he never finished high school. He makes $200,000 a year. And you know, you're holding yourself because you never went to college. This man never finished high school. He makes $200,000 a year. Yeah, we live in a time where you can make money and like there's no limits. Yeah. Sorry to cut you off.
No, I mean that was essentially it. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. What was the question again?
What's degrading your mental health right now? What's the thing?
I think I'll say for me, it's kind of like not knowing what I need. Because, or even if there's like something mentally undiagnosed within me, like with the way I engage in with the world, like I think I have my own ways of, or let me just say like the way, you know, you just go about life, and it's like, man, I feel like I'm not on the same wavelengths as everyone. You know what I mean? I'm like, some people just seem to get certain stuff, and like for me, it might take a little bit long. I'm like, is that is that me? Is that a thing? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, is it?
Example.
I'll even say sometimes like I can't. I won't say social cues, but sometimes it's like it's hard to
I know you ain't talking about social. I'm the worst with social cues, and y'all know it.
No. I mean, but no. I mean, I know how things affect myself, but like I don't know necessarily.
You read the room.
Sometimes, like I'm trying to think of a good example, but I can't really think of one off the top of my head right now. Okay. But I feel like certain times where it's like, wait, is everyone picking up on something that I'm not? I'm like, wait. You know what I mean? And I think I have moments like that where I'm like, is something afoot here? Like even like, at work, with friends, with family, it's like sometimes there's just moments where I'm like, did I miss something? You know what I mean? Like I'm here, I'm listening, but I'm like, I don't know. It might not be anything, but I know that just in the situations I have, I'm wondering like, I think I'm at the point now where I'm like, okay, what can I do to get this fixed? Like that's kind of my mindset with a lot of stuff like in life right now. Okay, if I'm getting too cold, like, let me go buy a hoodie. You know what I mean? Like, let's go do the thing. Let's kind of close these ends here. Yeah. And I think even that I've taken that perspective when it comes to like emotional, mental stuff. Okay, what do I need here? I had some issues going on a little bit ago, and I remember I just sat down or I got on the phone with someone just to like, someone that didn't have nothing to do with nothing, that was completely removed from the situation, didn't have an opinion, unbiased opinion. And I'm like, yo, like X, Y, and Z. And the crazy part is like, I got a response that I didn't want, I got a response that I didn't want, but was very true, and so on point. And I think it was just like a moment of like, okay, all right, now you've made sense of that. Cause I was mad when I'm like, if that's the answer, I'm pissed. You know what I mean? And, I think I just needed that mental space of like, I need to know like what is actually like, it's almost like if you have a car, your car is like running a little weird. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I've been riding on this for a while now. I need to know what's wrong with this car. Yeah. And so now I'm just in a space where I'm trying to figure out what is wrong so that it can be fixed. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Got you.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's a few things, but it's kind of like all of like different negative thoughts kind of like balled into one. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's heavy, So for one, I don't know what it is, but people have this like perception of me that I'm like hella busy and like always working on something and have it figured out, right? Like even we had the conversation on Starbucks. At Starbucks, you're like, oh, it looks like you're always doing something. Mm-hmm. I'm like, girl, I be in my bed playing solitaire a lot of the time, Yeah. So, cause to be honest with you, I don't know how people because for me, I be feeling hella lost. At least right now, I'm just kind of in this place where I'm trying to counter that thought. I'm not even trying to fight it at this point, but like, what is the source of that? And I've been thinking about it. And one of the things is like, I'm not doing so much work for other people right now. And that is working for other people, as far as like taking on clients and stuff. That's like a familiar thing for me. That I know what to do. I know how to do it. Like, that's like my default. I've been intentionally not taking on a lot of other people's work so that I can focus on, my own thing. But I was telling you, like, when it comes to other people's stuff, like, I know what to do. When it comes to building something for myself, I feel like a baby giraffe. I'm like, what's left, what's right? Yeah. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I don't know why that is, but it's like, why do I feel so disoriented? That's a really good word. Like, I wake up sometimes and I feel like hella just disoriented. Like, I don't know what's up, what's down. I don't know what the next step is. I know where I think I want to go. Is that the right direction to go? How do I even get there? Couldn't even tell you. Don't know how to put one foot in front of the other. Yeah. And that's just in itself like a lot. But then to couple that with like, okay, if I am doing this, does this even matter?
Mm-hmm.
You ever like just have that moment where you're like, is this work just in vain that I'm doing, that I'm trying to like focus on so heavy, or like, is this for something?
Right.
Because half of the time it don't feel like
Yeah.
it's for anything, you know? And then what else? I wrote my thoughts down because it was a lot. It was a lot. Feeling like I'm wasting time, right? Like I'm getting older. I'm at the beginning of the year, I moved back into my mom's house, right? And I'm like, I ain't trying to be here forever. But in those days where I'm at like a 5 or a 4 and I'm in my bed playing solitaire, eating pretzels all day, I'm like,
Yeah.
you can't afford to be doing this,
Yeah.
you know? So it's like all of those feelings
Yeah.
combined,
Yeah.
just sitting on my shoulders every day.
Yeah.
You know, and if God forbid I do something or fail to do something that reinforces everything that I'm feeling, it's like even deeper into it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know? So
One thing.
No.
I think just one thing that came to mind when you said, are you working in vain? I thought of like, remember Noah when he was building the ark?
mm-hmm.
And like people were walking past him and, you know, like, what you doing?
Right.
Yeah.
Stupid.
You know, like, he was like, oh, it's going to rain. He was like, man, it never rained.
Right.
You know, but then when it rained,
Right.
You know,
but
so-
you got to work with that conviction. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I have it all the time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I feel like for other people, I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I can be like your biggest cheerleader, but for myself, I'm like, rules don't apply to me. Here I am.
Like what
Yeah.
is that?
I get that. Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah.
it's because I think we talked about it on the episode. It's like how we view ourselves. It's all comes back to like self-esteem because we know our inner thoughts. We know our mistakes, our flaws. So it's like, and that's what for me boundaries in the sense of like I'll go to the end of the world and back for somebody else, but for myself,
Yeah.
no, I need to go to the end of the world and
Right.
back for myself too. So I think like it's just it's like slowly just reimagining how
Yeah.
we see ourselves.
And I think that's part of it, but like some of it I haven't exactly identified yet, you know, because it's not that I don't want to do anything for myself. It's that it's like when I'm in this mindset with all this different stuff going through my head, it's like crippling is what it is. So it's like I want to do a thing, but I feel like I can't.
Because this is too much.
It's just too much. And
In
I
your
don't,
head.
when I say like disoriented, I mean like I will go to Starbucks with the intention of doing everything on this list and nothing get done.
Is it a
I
mental
just
list or
laughed
is it
that I
a,
was with you. That's all.
is it a
That,
mental?
it's happened multiple times.
Right.
I'm like
Is it a mental list or a physical list?
a physical list and a mental list. I mean, it's both. And it happens with when you're there or when you're not. Like literally I could be there by myself and then it's just I start working on a thing and then I start working on another thing and then I'm like, what the hell am I like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I do that every day.
disoriented is the perfect word.
Yeah.
And then like deadline tomorrow. Oh God.
For real.
Yeah.
That's real.
Oh my God.
So
Yeah.
that's my truth.
I feel it.
And I really just don't understand where people just conjure up this idea that you just got it together. I'm like, I don't know what the hell y'all saying, but
You be
keep
closing
saying it, I
deals.
guess.
You be working with them and that and da da
Yeah.
da and posting here and posting that. And like I think that's where I just feel like socials just kind of give a false reality of stuff. And it's not that you were like trying to flex.
Yeah.
It's like you're just sharing stuff. But I think for people, that look of, oh, you're working with this person and you're working with that person and this is dope and da 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 da. Like, yo, you are out here killing it.
Right.
And I will say to an extent, you are, but probably not you're not the way that you know that you want to be killing it. And I think that's the thing that is probably like where that disconnect is, because to them it's like, yo, you better than I am right now. You know, at least you're doing this and you're doing that. But, you know, in your head it's like, nah, there's a higher height here. And this is just
Yes. What I'm gonna start posting is my solitaire screenshots when I beat my time high score. That's
We said it. Oh, did you say it too?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
Oh.
okay. Before I cry for real, next question.
Next.
I was gonna ask you for some tissue, but it's all good.
I
We don't have none in
we
here.
will not cry.
Yeah.
We will
I was
not
getting
cry.
there. I thought about when he said, I need to know, I need to figure out what I need. No, that's deep though.
Yeah,
It
I don't know what
is.
I need.
This is about to be a long episode.
Yeah, it
'cause-
is.
Anyway, next question. Was there ever a time where someone asked how you're doing and you gave an answer that was contrary
And the church said,
to how you
absolutely.
Yep. And I asked that because somebody had responded to a story of mine on Instagram. And it's somebody that I hadn't like talked to in a minute. I don't know if it's like they're just off Instagram or like the algorithm has just buried them, you know? But when I saw their response, I was like, oh, hey, like, how's everything? How you doing? And they're like, oh, yeah, I'm doing great, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for asking. And personally, I'm trying to work on not my small talk. Like I'm trying to work on
The follow-up.
the follow-up, like actually caring about people. Because it's easy to just leave it at the, oh yeah, I'm good too. All right, check.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
care.
Later. Yeah.
No, you just.
But the evidence
just-
of
yeah,
evidence. Yeah.
Well, sometimes I don't. If I'm being honest. Sometimes I really don't. And I'm like I be in my own world dealing with my own stuff. So like sometimes I'm not even. When you say you be on a different wavelength, like that's me sometimes.
Yeah.
So I asked a follow-up question. I'm like, so like, you know, what you working on? Like, how's everything with you? And the next DM, granted it was a couple days later, they're like, well, I'm exhausted. They're like, I'm trying to do work. I'm trying to do school, client work, be a good, you know, human being, and then also make time to respond to DMs on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that was honest,
Yikes.
Yeah.
you know? So that's why I'm asking.
Were you gonna
You
say
go first.
something?
You go ahead.
No, you
You want me to go?
That was
I rock, paper, scissors. Oh,
No,
you go.
yeah, you let her go last time. You go first.
Okay. No, I was just like, to me, it's almost natural at this point to be like, yeah, everything's XYZ. Because I'll say for me, I don't think people are actually asking like how it's you know it's just a thing. You know, you say, hey man, how you doing? How's everything?
just a part of the greeting.
It's just a greeting, you know? And then I think there's certain times where people, like, there's a limit to what people will listen to. You know what I mean? And it's like, even if you're not feeling good, it's like, yeah, everything's cool, because I know if I really tell you, you know, you're gonna, oh God, here we go again, or
Oh shit!
or here
I
go
wasn't
here.
planning this.
It's like, oh, exactly. Like you really weren't prepared to actually get the real response.
yeah.
You know, I think that takes another level of intentionality for people. Like, if you really want to get somebody's real answer, like, straight up look them in the eye. You know what I mean? But like everything else is just like,
Like
it's
that's cool.
it's a greeting.
That's cool, but how are you really doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You know, but yeah, I just feel like we're in a space where people don't really want to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't actually want to know how I'm doing
I think some
on a
people
deeper level.
do, but I think we're so used to people not really wanting to know that
No.
we keep it surface.
No, you're right. No, I'm not saying that's everyone. I do think there are people out there that really want to check up on you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
make sure that you're okay. But I think for the most part, it's like, you know, at least in my head, it's like, okay, is this a real question? Like, are you really asking me? Or, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
is this
Yeah.
just a greeting?
That
And-
reminds me. This is not a plug, but if you guys would like to sponsor this episode or the next one, please feel free. You ever see that BetterHelp commercial on
I
YouTube?
swear I was gonna say that
Yeah.
during this episode at
So-
some point.
Where the dude's like, yo, man, what do you want? And then the guy was like, what I want is a job I care for. And like he starts going down a list of like things that he wants.
Uh-huh.
And then dude's like, I just meant like, what do you want to eat? I'm about to order some food. And that commercial, hands down, because it's like you relate to it.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? But
That one and the one where the guy, they're in the gym and he's bench pressing. I think that was BetterHelp too. And he didn't have a spotter, but the guy came over to him and was like, hey, you need help?
Yes.
And he's like, nah, I'm good. He's like, bro, there's no shame. Like, I can help you. But he's just holding. He's just holding.
That one,
yeah. He was
I
struggling.
haven't seen any of these.
Yeah, they're really well done. I think that one's BetterHelp too.
Probably.
I think it is.
Shout out to BetterHelp, man.
Yeah.
Sponsor us.
Yeah.
Please. Please.
Can you read the question again?
The question was, was there ever a time someone asked how you were doing and you gave an answer that was contrary to how you were actually feeling?
Yes. I think I keep referencing college, but college wasn't the highlight of my life. But I think during that time, I got really used to wearing a mask. And I use the word mask because I remember when I moved down here, Siri or Apple or whatever be reminding you when you take pictures and stuff like, oh, here's a slideshow. And
of your worst moments.
right. And I looked at the picture and I remember it was like a screenshot and it was something like me taking off the mask or realizing I had a mask because I got so used to putting on this facade. Hence why now I can't fake it. I'm not good at like faking the funk because I was so good with it. Like no one knew what was wrong with Desiree. Like I'm just out here like, oh yeah. But when I get home, nah, bro, it was rough. So I think now I'm not good at it. And I'm kind of glad that I'm not good at faking it because faking it didn't serve me any good at all, you know? But I think back then, more so when people asked, I was good at, yeah, I'm good or whatever. Now, I pick and choose who I disclose to.
Yes.
So just because someone asks, I'm not like, no, this is what really going on.
Yeah.
You know, I might hit you still with things are, life be lifing or like, things not great, but yet like you're not on the level for me to disclose type thing.
Right.
But I'm way more in tune and open with my feelings. So I think now I'm more so like, example, like Christina texts me, hey, what's going on? And I'm like, life. And I'm able to like tell everything, you know? But yeah, I think that answers the question.
Yeah, it's about having a safe space too. Like, because everybody who asks, sometimes they want to use that information for your demise. So like, you know what I mean? Like, see, I knew you ain't have it together. I knew she ain't have it together.
That hit you?
No, I was thinking about
Don't say the name.
No, I mean it's public
Tanya,
knowledge. I'm talking
like,
about Michael Beasley.
Oh yeah,
Like,
the
that's-
episode of The Pivot.
Yeah, like he was like, man, I shared things with people and it
yes,
became information.
Yeah.
Like my secrets became information
That's
that
crazy.
people sold off.
Yeah.
So I get that. I think I'll even say this: like there were some people that I had confided in that were sharing information. And almost and like back to the people that I was confiding them
That's
about,
crazy.
like in them about,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I think, that does do a number. I think, you know what I mean? Because like especially when you think you can trust somebody, because I'm not the one to be out here blabbing to everybody and their mama because I already know people can't handle stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like when you realize that things go back to people and it's like, oh, okay, now you gotta like. If you're not careful, that'll put this big wall up to where like, you know what? Ain't nobody getting nothing out of me. You know what I mean? And I can even see how someone can get there if it's something that it continually happens, but like you said, like you got to really be careful with who you share with. So it's like, yeah, I'm feeling away, but I ain't telling you nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
I ain't telling you Nathan.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think I do the same thing regularly for everything that you said earlier about like, do people really want to know? But then also like knowing you can't say everything to everyone for multiple reasons. That, and then also like you don't want to put people on high alert sometimes because it's like I just need to. Sometimes you just need to let it out, or but you don't want to. I also am mindful of like not wanting to weigh a person down or not wanting to seem like there's always something wrong, to the point where they don't want to talk to you. So for that reason, like I'm very intentional with who I share with. But also, sometimes I just don't feel like sharing.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes people will ask you, and then it's just like, I don't feel like talking about it, because if I talk about it, then I have to like go through all of those emotions
feelings,
right now.
yep.
And I just prefer
I don't
not
feel like
to.
going through it right
That
now.
makes you cry.
Yeah.
Well, how are you? It's just like a thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny you say that, because I don't think I ever had permission for that response until me and you had a conversation about some stuff. And you said to me, Mark, if you are not ready to talk about something, just say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're the first person that ever told me that. And I was just like, huh.
Yeah.
She's absolutely right. Because
Yeah.
I never had permission. You feel like, almost in the sense if someone's asking you,
You have to
you
share.
have to, which could be a
Right.
dangerous place.
Yeah. And then some people
That's good.
will ask you and then not leave it alone. Like they want to like
Yeah.
pull something out of you that
Yeah.
you're not ready to talk about, or that you just don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the quickest way to get me to shut down.
Yeah.
I just want to say, if any guys, you need to talk, you know,
This is a
Joe
safe
is
space.
always available.
That was good.
Or then sometimes you have people like me who, like, if I ask someone that's not a friend how they're doing and they begin to pour out to me, I'm so excited that you've confided in
trust
me,
me. Yeah.
that I'm fixated on the fact that I'm excited and you're talking. I'm like, oh crap, what did you just say?
Oh.
And then it's just like a thing, but it's just like, you trust me, yes,
They're
yes.
like-
And they're like,
They're like, do you understand? You're like,
Say it one more time. Just to make sure. One more time.
yeah. But it's because I'm just, I'm excited.
Yeah.
But, so forgive us.
Yeah.
People like that, we mean well.
Okay, next question. And it's a good one. What's a recurring mental hangup you find yourself experiencing despite reaching new levels of success?
Not good enough.
Say the question again.
What's a recurring mental hangup you find yourself experiencing despite reaching new levels of success? Which means like it just keeps showing up. You think you're over it, and then you run into it again and again.
I think for me, I mean, it's part of life though, right? But reaching new levels of success, right? This could all be taken away from me tomorrow. And I think it's like that constant thought, like, I got to work hard and I can't like take a break and I can't rest. Because if I rest, then there's somebody who's going to come in and take what I have. You know what I mean? So it's like, the thought that
Someone's going to come in.
someone or something or life is going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you ever when you reach your 9 or your 8 or your 10, right? And you like,
You're almost suspicious. Like
you're like,
Yeah.
stuff is
Yeah.
too good.
Yep.
yeah.
What's around the corner?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was me at the beginning of the year. Like I'm enjoying it, but also
Yeah.
Side eye.
something about to happen.
I got any Judases in my phone.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
That's like the higher you climb, the harder you fall. And I think that's sometimes it's easier to be low because you don't have far to fall.
William Stitt.
For real.
Like
Say that again.
Like a
Say that
Jordan
one
1
more
low.
time. Say that one more time, Will.
I was saying, what did I say? Oh yeah.
It's like,
That's
we get it.
the higher you climb, the harder you fall. Like you know the expression.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's easier to just, if you're already low, to just stay low because you don't have far to fall from there. So
Yeah.
whatever that low looks like, depression, anxiety, because the energy you're gonna use to try to get out of it, and then say you do get out of it, it's like it's great, but that's where
This ain't gonna last long.
it's not gonna last long, especially when that's, unfortunately, anxiety and depression, all those things is a lot of people's defaults, unfortunately, so.
And it
trying
doesn't
to-
hurt as much. Like being already low and falling, I was already halfway there or like almost there. But being high and falling,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
mess hurts.
I was
Yeah.
like, I'll stay right here.
Yep, I'll be right here.
It's
in my
comfortable
bed.
here.
Yep.
It's not the
Yeah.
best. I know there's more,
Yeah.
but this is okay.
That's a scary
I know how to
place.
maneuver through this. I know how to navigate this.
Yeah.
Because you remember, like when I told you, it was like a certain point in my life. It was literally, it was as if I this is gonna sound stupid, but it was as if the bed was calling me back.
Yeah.
Like the desire to be in the bed was strong.
To just
Like that's the
Be
safe
depressed.
place.
Yeah. Like being in, like
okay.
I'm out, I'm in the car, but then I'm like, I want to go back home. Like I just wanted to be there and just like let it fester. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's a scary place, man.
Yeah.
definitely been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was just like thinking that this is it. Like it's not gonna get any better. And like you've peaked or you've plateaued essentially. Like this is there's nowhere more up to go. There's no more up to give. You know?
Yeah.
I think that's probably been my thought each time. They're like, I mean, it's always important to just make sure you just take a moment and take a look back, like turn around and look back and see how far you actually come.
You said that.
But it's just like, you know, you get here and it's like, well, I guess this is it. Is this it? This might be it. Like, you know what I mean?
That's so real.
It's-
That's,
As it gets.
Yeah, it's as good as it gets.
yeah, that's kind of mine too. Like not feeling like I'm good enough all the time
Yeah.
in different, parts of life or different areas of life, but then also like, will I ever figure it out?
Yeah.
And then if I don't figure it out, I guess this is it.
Yeah.
And and I think in addition to that, there's almost kind of like that shame of getting older. And it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
I'm 27 years old, I'm however many years old, and I haven't figured this out yet.
Yeah.
And at least for me, I can look at myself that way at times, and it becomes like a shameful thing. Like,
Yeah.
I should have figured this out by now or conquered this or whatever. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
So say one thing we all can relate to here is the shame, especially in the Christian world and church, not being married yet.
Right.
I'm sure we all get the question like, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?
Yeah.
What's wrong? And I think lately I've just been like, you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. Right now, I'm gonna fully like just dive into who I am and what I want. And when that comes, like, cool. And I think that's today. I'm not saying next week it's gonna be the same thing. But today I'm just like, this is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying like just getting to know me on a deeper level. Like on a deeper level. Well, not too deep. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
Yeah.
But
It's so easy to look at what we don't have instead of like appreciating what we do, even if it's not where we want to be. Because like even with my situation right now, it's like, use the word discombobulated. Disoriented and discombobulated in the giraffe walking, and that is me right now. But it's kind of like, okay, but I have a roof over my head. Okay, but you know what I'm saying? But the default is to just be like,
What you don't have.
what in the world is happening?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
that reminds me, I went to on a mission trip like some years ago to Haiti, where my family's actually from. And one of the things we brought were like sandals that you could get from like
Old Navy.
Old Navy or the Walmart, the $5 basket or whatever the case is, right? And I just remember we were like just handing them out to some kids, and they would grab them and just run, and you could see like just the gratitude, right? Or some kids will have sandals on, and the whole front of the sandal, their toes are exposed. And I just remember thinking like, man, I just be out here stressed and looking at myself like I don't have nothing.
Yeah.
And this $5 or $3 sandal that somebody donated, this is the world to this kid.
Yeah.
Because he has something that covers his feet from the rocks. You know what I'm saying? And I think it just puts things into perspective. Like in America, we live in the top, 3% of the world's wealth. So the stuff that we have is just like, I think sometimes we just take it so for granted.
Yeah.
Like, and you just, thank you, Jesus. I thank the Lord. Like when I think about it, I'm like, thank you. Because I could have been me. I look back like my direct cousins, my dad's brothers and sisters' children, they live in poverty. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, the Lord knew what he was doing when my mom came here. when my dad came here, because if not, I mean, obviously I wouldn't be here. But if I were born in any other country but here, and America be American sometimes and crazy, but we are far blessed than we realize it.
Yeah.
All right. Ready for the next question?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Does it get deeper? Okay. How do you make sure you're prioritizing what you're creating instead of people's response to what you're creating, or how it makes you feel about yourself?
Do it again.
How do you make sure you're prioritizing what you're creating instead of what people's response to it will be, or how it makes you feel about yourself?
One more time.
I think what she's saying is like when you're creating something, let's say like you're taking a picture, are you like, oh, I'm gonna kill it with this one, or are you making sure that it's like what your vision was for that picture, right?
In a sense, yes.
It's like how I feel about like, yo, this picture is dope, regardless of how anybody else feels about it, or I think people will like this picture.
Right.
Like where
shaping what you create based on how people will respond to a thing.
Yeah. So read it one more time. I just want to make sure I get the solid question.
How do you make sure you're prioritizing what you're creating instead of people's response to what you're creating, or how it makes you feel about yourself?
I think it's the last part that kind of throws off. How do you feel about yourself? Like
because sometimes we create stuff because it makes us feel good about ourselves. Like, oh, this came out really nice. So like, yeah, I'm good. I am good at the thing.
Yeah.
You know, or
and then someone gives it a dislike.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, maybe
yeah,
it's not good.
like as if we tie our value or our identity of ourself to what it is we're creating.
Right.
Okay. That part, I think in the beginning for Instagram and stuff, me seeing the incline in followers, in the beginning, I didn't take it seriously, but me seeing the incline in followers, I began to tie myself to likes. So if I see a post that didn't get as many likes, my mind would be like, oh shoot, that was crap. Let me go back to what works. Let me go back to the thing that was like, you know.
Yeah.
But I think now I'm not really touching my social media, but that's another conversation. But now what'd you say?
I said we got time.
Oh, soon come. But I think now it's a little hard for me because my job is social media. So I think my mindset is always like what the organization wants. Yeah. Sometimes my taste kind of like
creeps in.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, this is nice. But then it's more so like what the organization like it. Yeah. And it's hard for me to like sever that because some of the stuff I will go in a different direction. I'm like, you like that? I would have went left. But because my job is social, it's kind of hard to like really answer it. But I think now it's more so what people like. Yeah. Even though I don't agree.
Yeah.
I've been working with a friend lately, and like I'll be editing a video, I'm like boom, boom, boom. Oh, they gonna like this one, boom, down. All right, send, boom, and then they post it, and it's completely chopped up. I'm like,
you slaughtered my boy.
No, what is this crap? Sorry if you're watching. But yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
That is a weird reality. I think I was in my head initially when you said that. I'm like, yeah, I don't be caring what people think. And then I thought about it. I'm like, I pretty much send everything that I create to Christina first, just to like see if is
it good? This way.
I'm like,
what do you think about this?
There's probably something in there. I think the only thing that I didn't share with you was this last post I did. Did I share that with you?
Yes.
No, but I was telling you about the app. I think. But I wasn't actually sharing.
Is that bad though, or is it more like?
I mean, it can be. I think it can be bad.
Are you doing it based off of validation?
Well, I don't know if it's not. Is it? That's a good question.
I think
no, go ahead.
I think it can be validation, but I think sometimes we share so that like, hey, when I actually post this, is this really gonna hit? Like, are people really gonna feel it like that? Like, tell me if there's something that I need to.
Or are
adjust.
there like red flags in it too? Because sometimes it's good to show it to a few eyes before you post it, because they may see something that you didn't see. And you be like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I'm glad I didn't do it. Because
Yeah.
you know, it could be somebody's clothes might be messed up, or you
Yeah.
just never know. So
That's true.
I'm trying to think. Like if I'm, why am I sending it?
But it should
I
be a safe
think-
place for you though too.
That's true, too.
Collaborative
Of course
safe
I
place.
Of course, that's true. That is,
Yeah, it's
That's
not like
true.
you're sending it to some random like designer or creator from, you know what I mean? It's like
Right.
internal. So I feel like
right. But
We're
I
almost-
think even in that though, like, okay, is that, why would, like, I liked it before I sent it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so should, like, is
But-
that a thing? Like, am
but-
I,
Did you send it like what Will said, where it's like, oh, like check out this video, or did you send it for validate? Like,
I don't know. That's the
okay,
thing. I don't
okay.
know if I am or not.
because I feel like we send stuff to each other for critique.
Yeah.
For it to be better, not to
Right.
necessarily say, because she's gonna see it whether you post it on social media.
Well, I
either
will.
way.
Well, this is what I will say. If Christina says like, "Hey,
This is trash.
this don't look," or whatever, I'm not I'm not doing it.
Been there. Hey, so yeah,
I'm not
pictures
doing it.
1 through 100. Yeah,
Shut up.
I'm gonna need you to edit all those over.
Shut up. True story. But
True
shut
story.
up.
But and the next day when I woke up and I looked back, I was like, thank God. She told me to re-edit these.
It's like, well, man, this is tough.
hurt
Now that I think
yourself.
about it,
You said-
because sometimes there'll be times where, like, let's say like there is a thing that I'll be like, okay, no, this is cool. I like this. This is pretty cool, and I'll send it. And Christina's like, I'm not feeling that fun. I'm like, I liked it. Fun.
well, font you there.
I'm like, or it's just like, I don't know. So it's a weird space. So I'm trying to think, like, what is my real motivation in that? Am I just looking for someone to be like, yeah, like agree with me that this is
Yeah.
good, so then like now I can post,
But you-
or
You know what? Moving forward, that's just a question you'll ask yourself.
yeah.
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 do you feel like that when you post on social? The times that you do post on social,
What?
like if a post doesn't get as many likes or doesn't hit, like, you know, you post a video, you post a picture, and you're like, this is bomb, and then you get like 20 likes, and it's like,
Yeah,
Okay.
I
But
feel
you don't
like
care about
I feel
that.
like I dance in between.
Okay.
It depends on the thing. Like, maybe I'm looking like maybe there's one thing that I might be really excited about, and it's like you put it out there, and it's like the numbers don't fully reflect how.
No,
How
and-
great.
And then you go to option hide like count.
but did like back in the day, did you take down the post?
No,
and
no,
repost.
that-
I used
I
to
did.
do that too.
That is
I'm
one
like,
thing I did
post
not do.
later.
I posted in prime time.
Algorithm right now.
Yeah,
listen.
yeah.
I'm gonna post it during prime time.
That's-
Clearly, it was the wrong time. That's all.
That-
Remember we used to look at times and stuff?
Facts.
We're like, bump the algorithm.
That's one thing I did refuse to do. Like if it once it's up, it's up. Like
Oh,
not,
no,
I'm
my
not.
pride
If I'm
is
taking
up,
something
then
down,
it's stuck.
like legit. Like if I would never remove something based on how many likes it had.
I sure
Just
would.
like
I
If
did.
that
share it
thing
to your
get-
story
I
like
definitely
2 days
did,
later.
yeah.
Hey,
Right.
just in case y'all ain't see this.
Bro,
I wouldn't do
In case
that.
y'all missed it.
before the story even came about, when it was just
Yeah.
feed, like if that thing got 3 likes,
Yep.
I'll try again later.
Thank
Another day.
God
Another
for
day.
hide like count.
Bruh.
I've been hiding since that feature has been. I've been
Yeah.
like hide such and such and others. Yep, and others. The millions of others.
Do you go back once it reaches a certain point? You're like, all right, I'll expose it.
I be wanting to, but then I don't, because then I feel like people are again in my
Yeah.
mind. People
Oh, she
probably
on
don't even
it.
care less.
Yeah.
But
I be hiding it whether or not I know it's gonna do well. Just
Yeah.
because like I don't want other people to like it or not like it
Or be-
based on what my number
Or
is.
be
Right.
getting jealous, right? Because you got all these likes.
Exactly.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I do want to
almost
say
said
I do want to say one thing. So my friend Megan, who actually helped come up with these questions, I had a conversation with her earlier, and so that's a lot of where these questions came
Yeah.
from.
thanks a lot, Megan.
Shout out to you.
The stallion?
We love you, you jerk.
The stallion?
Shut up. So she interviewed Morgan Cooper. Is that his name? The creator of Bel Air.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure if that's his name. Is that it?
I believe it is.
Okay.
Yep, Morgan Cooper. She interviewed him because she works at Boardroom, and she sent me one of his responses to her questions, and it's tied into what we were talking about. He said, I think something that served me very well as an artist is not getting overly obsessed with the result after the thing is made. Just focus on the thing. Sometimes people get so focused on the result that taints the process because, to get 1 million people to watch, I have to make it this way. No, focus on the idea that kept you up every single night. What about the idea that keeps you from getting sleep at night? Focus on that, and then people will feel the intention behind it. They'll feel the pureness of the vision.
Yeah,
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
I was listening to Charlemagne today. He's got a YouTube channel. He interviews celebrities outside of the Breakfast Club. And you know the founder of Abbott Elementary, Quinta Brunson?
Yeah. Large. That's right.
Yeah,
Get it off.
He got money.
Yeah, but one of the things they were talking about was like how successful Abbott is and why so many people love it. And one of the things she was talking about is like it's important for things to have a soul first. Like if a show doesn't have a soul, it's like it can have jokes, but the jokes won't mean anything. So I think that reminded me of that. It's like what you just read. It's like that's that substance that it's got to have first.
Yeah. And falling in love with the thing,
Yeah.
you know, and not thinking about how you can tweak it so that people will respond to it better.
Right.
You know?
Because I think the point that last line he said? It was something about the vision can come through or something like that.
He said, focus on that, and the people will feel the intention behind it. They'll feel the pureness of the vision.
The pureness of the vision, the fact that there has to be a vision first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's something within you that you saw that you're trying to now put on paper or to create so that you're getting it out into the world. I think sometimes our motivation is to make something cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not a vision. That's just wanting something to be cool.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when you want to make something cool and it doesn't get likes, because that's really the only purpose that it's there for is for likes, and it don't happen, that's what I think when you kind of fall into that space.
Is it? Right.
Huh?
I mean, I hear you. But as far as it being like the only purpose,
I think when you just want something to be cool, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You,
I thought you meant like the purpose of posts. Like,
oh no.
Oh.
I think if you have a vision in mind, then it really doesn't matter. Like I get what I think. That's the thing that I took away from that is like it doesn't matter what people have to say about a thing once your vision is out there. Like if you can put your stamp of approval on this thing that you just created, so that it looks exactly how I wanted it to look.
Yeah.
You know, it feels exactly how I wanted it to feel.
Then
it don't
everything
matter
else don't
about
matter.
nothing else. It really doesn't. But that's where, you got a lot of TV shows that fall into that space or movies where it's like this is a fan-led movie.
Yeah.
Did we ask for this?
Like, you know what I mean?
I was gonna say that sometimes, like, you ever post something, for example, like, and it don't do good right away, but then months later, or like TV shows, was the creator of Squid Games said on a thing for, he stuck to his vision, and it was 11 years later.
Yeah, it was years.
That then people caught on because everyone ain't gonna catch on and like or think your idea is so great right now, but then like, you know what I mean?
Stay faithful to that.
Stay faithful to that.
vision.
And at the right time, the right people will.
That's good.
This is true.
All right, this is the last question.
Thank you,
The
Jesus.
last one.
And the hardest.
We've been
Sweating.
kind of long-winded, but I don't mind it. What are you currently learning about yourself that can help you maintain a good headspace?
Then I'm stronger than I thought.
That was mine. We strong.
Live strong.
Oh yeah, the wristband.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe.
I got it. I said.
Yeah, but it was a little delayed. Joe got it right away. He validated me.
I got it.
But
I
did
was
he
just like,
laugh?
am I gonna respond?
Oh, it was a joke.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I was trying not to laugh because I was like, yeah, the band. Like I was trying to. Okay. All right. But I'm stronger than I think, and I didn't realize it. I remember one pastor said he was like, when it feels like the enemy's like attacking you, kind of look at it as like
you're doing something right.
That I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he doesn't attack what's dead.
Yeah. They say thieves only come to loaded vaults.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Thieves only come to loaded vaults.
Yeah.
That's good.
So when I thought about it like that, I'm like, okay, God, but can we get to the
good part?
To the good part. But at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, I'm doing something.
Yeah.
I'm doing something. I'm on track somewhere Because if not, then I wouldn't be experiencing how intensely and stuff like that. And I'm already an emotional person. That's just something that at this point in life I've accepted and I'm fine with. But when things happen, I feel the feeling intensified. So it's kind of like I feel like I'm on the verge of like breaking, but I'm stronger than I think because I'm still here. So
can I say this real quick? Sorry. Y'all go ahead and hit the Cashapp. What's the Cashapp handle again? Because we dropping a lot of them.
$. Creatives are essential, okay?
Yes, you know.
If you feel led, you know.
So,
But yeah,
We're bearing our soul.
Yeah.
Give us money. I'm just kidding.
yeah,
I think mine is similar to you. I'm stronger than I think, but also you've been saying this a lot. Like your feelings don't have to control you. You know, like I told y'all how I feel at the beginning of the episode, and it's heavy. And like, you know, like I've been trying to fight it or try to like
do the opposite.
do the opposite. Try to figure it out. Try to push past. Like all of that stuff. It's so exhausting. You know, to try to like fight like a wall of emotion. But today was the first day that I just ignored it. And I was like, do I feel it? Yes. You know, like when I feel stressed out, like it affects me like physically. Like I feel like my chest getting tight and like, you know, my breathing changes. But today was the first day that anytime that I felt it kind of like rise up, I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna do what I'm supposed to do. Cause I know that if I give into it, I'm gonna be at home in my bed. And I'm not trying to do that. Or if I give into it and try to like push past it, I'm just gonna be all disoriented and not get anything done. So I'm just gonna pretend like it don't exist and just continue throughout my day despite how I'm feeling. And that was, today was probably one of the better days I've had in a couple of weeks.
That's good.
That's what's up.
What was the question again?
The question is, what are you learning about yourself that can help you maintain a good headspace?
You need a minute.
I hope this don't sound vain.
Okay.
But I learned that I'm learning. I'm a pretty dope person. And I'm learning that I don't have to, I think in some ways that I've kind of adapted to certain spaces. But I'm learning that I don't want to do that. Like I just want to be completely who I am, regardless of what space I'm in. So if that means you welcome who I am, cool. If you don't, that's just as good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, just being unapologetically myself, knowing the things that I want, knowing the things I'm not going to settle for or compromise on, and just seeing myself in a positive light, regardless of how negative a situation is. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I think mine will be learning balance, like a mental balance, or I'll even say an emotional balance. It's like things as good as they are probably not like don't take them to be like the finish line, and like how bad they get, they're not as bad as they actually are, you know, and finding that space in between. And like, it's almost like you see like when ships are rocking, you know, and it's like you kind of have to lean into it just to kind of like stay level. I feel like that's what I'm learning to do. And like, I just know I've had times when things are low, like I'll just lean all the way to that side and we just tip over. Cause like we gonna be all the way left. You know what I mean? And then it's like when you high, you're on cloud 9. But I think just trying to really stay in that middle space, you know, mentally and emotionally. I think those are probably the two biggest areas for me. So that, you know, like stuff doesn't always revolve around you, and that's okay. You know what I mean?
And to add to that, you said mentally and emotionally. Also, to piggyback off of that, for me, spiritually, like when I go through a thing, I'm either like Jesus, or I'm like, forget you, because
I forgot them, and the ones who won't let me start.
Because you're not hearing me. So it's just like frustration. So it's kind of like, okay, but are you spending time with me? Are you like in devotions? Are you like worshiping? Are you? No, I'm just experiencing the thing and complaining to you. And even after leaving you know, spending time with God, I'm not about to say, oh, I feel better now. No, I still feel the thing and I'm still upset. But am I doing my part or am I just complaining?
Yeah.
And I think like when I don't be feeling like reading the Bible. I don't,
Yeah.
if I'm being honest. And I think
That's real.
I think a tough part for me is because I work at a church. I'm different. Okay. So like, I'm not like, and I'm not knocking the people who are like this, but I'm just saying when you work at a church, everything is Jesus. And that's the way it should be. You get what I'm saying? That, not saying no, but it's like, are you feeling a thing? Sometimes we get so used to covering the situation with Jesus. And yes, that he is the only way. And that's what I believe. I'm not saying no, but it's like, are you feeling the thing? Are you feeling the emotion or are you just kind of like
burying it?
Yeah.
Suppressing
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, oh yeah, I just read the word and I felt great. I be reading the word and I still be feeling like I could cuss somebody out. You get what I'm saying? So that realness, I feel like, not to say people aren't feeling that because I believe that can happen, but I think when growing up too, when that's all you see and like that's the answer you get, you're going through a thing, pray, you're going through a thing, Jesus. It's just kind of like, yeah, but I'm still experiencing the thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard when your response isn't like, oh yeah, I felt great and Jesus loves me, and I'm just like, I'm still pissed.
Right.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So
there's a story. There was this guy who was talking about it where his mom got cancer and he was very much into the church, and he said they spent so much time at the church, and I'm not saying knocking the church, of course, go to church, right, and pray for healing. They spent so much time going to this seminar or like revival and this thing so he can get his mom healed. And by the time they finally brought his mom to the hospital to like actually get medical attention, he said, dude, if y'all just brought her in earlier, we could have saved her. And I think sometimes we just cover real life things with like you said, with Jesus. And I think Jesus is like, hey, like I said, you can be healed, but you could, the doctor can heal you. Like common sense. Like, I gave you guys these things.
using wisdom.
Right.
God is still the God of real life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And practicality.
Yeah.
Practicality.
Because like I listen, COVID. You can pray against COVID, all that stuff. That's great. But also wear your mask too. Like when you like they work hand in hand. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I would never want to be that person that tries to do faith experiments on people, you know what I mean, that are sick. Like, listen, we can do both at the same time. We can be praying for you while we're at the hospital as well. Like we don't want to get in a space where it's just like only this. Like, because essentially you're putting God in a box as well. Right. Because did God say to not go to the hospital? I mean, if he did, then, you'd be obedient. But like, it's like, no, my faith will heal me. Okay. Like two things can be true here. Like let's handle both. That's my 2 cents.
But we love our churches.
Yes, very much so.
What you gotta say?
And I thoroughly believe in the healing that Jesus can still
that
heal.
went in a different direction.
Yeah.
That's not what I. That's
well,
not
we
what
were
I was
just
saying.
kidding. We'll cut the
All right,
I'm so sorry.
We'll cut this
Yeah. I just meant showing emotion, not just like.
Oh, the frustration of a thing?
Yeah, like
okay.
Being emotional in a thing. Yeah, after you're in your word and stuff, you still feel the thing. Like feel the emotion, feel the intensity. You may still be frustrated with God, but I'm saying being in the church realm, sometimes it's easy to mask the situation. Like people in the church are hurting. But you may not know because again, the mask they put on, like, well, we're in church, so it's, you get what I'm saying? But it's like, no, be authentic with the thing where like, I just left my word, but I'm still grieving. You get what I'm saying? It's not like Jesus and you just, I think that's more so I meant. So my bad for not explaining.
No.
Yeah, you're bad.
No, I get what you're saying.
Like, this is taking a turn.
No, that's good.
Yeah, man. So I mean, we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna skip
2 hours. No, I'm just joking.
we're gonna skip inspirations this week because time
Dang
is
it.
I had a good one.
I had a good one.
Catch you tomorrow. Neil.
we gonna skip it because time is far spent. But I'm glad that you guys have
time.
one. Hopefully you're inspired by something else by then.
I mean, yeah, but sometimes I just
Y'all
it be
message me, on
slim pickings.
message me on Instagram if y'all want to know my inspiration for this week.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram at creativesareessential. Subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, wherever you're listening, of course. And we will catch you on the next one.
Buy some merch.
I mean,
You know.
ain't much available right now, but you stay tuned. So, yeah, my name's Christina.
It's your boy, Mark Lee.
Des.
I'm Joe. Later, friends.
Peace.